finish off these brackets, I want to bore and tap a hole here for an M5 bolt. Now this will sit up against the rail, and this bolt will just kind of secure it. We'll also have these two holes here to mount to the top of the column, and this one will just mount to the rail. So we're just going to bore and tap for an M5. Alright, let's tap for M5. Alright, that's good. Alright guys, so I've got these temporarily bolted with just the bolt going through the rail. I've got to secure it with the two mounting bolts here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a transfer punch to transfer my mounting holes here, and then I'm going to drill and tap it to the top of the column. Looks pretty good. So far so good. So let me get this mounted, and then we'll be able to kind of see how it operates. Now I'll remove these, and then I'll drill and tap these holes. I'm going to be using some M6 for this. couple of drilled and tapped holes. So now we should be able to just mount this with this screw and those two, and that should hold it. So let's get it mounted. And then for these holes, I'm just using some socket head cap screws, M6. And that should hold it on there really solid, I think. Shouldn't have to worry about it. Alright, I believe that is nice and secure. Now we'll just go ahead and mount the other drill tap and mount the other side. Then we're going to have to drill and tap some holes to mount our chain to the saddle. So let me get on this other side mounted. Alright, well, we've got them mounted. They're nice and solid, and I don't think they're going to go anywhere. Looks pretty good. Alright guys, well, I just wanted to show you what we're working on now. These are how I'm attaching it to the chain. It's basically just an M6 bolt with the jam nut, and I've just ground it down on each side, stuck the link on each side, and then pinned it with a 1/8 inch steel rod, and then kind of pinned it on both sides to hold it in there. It should work really good. I don't think there's going to be any issues with that. And then we're just going to go ahead and make the other ones for the other side and the top of the saddle here. So I'm going to go ahead and work on those, and then we're going to have to bore and tap the top of the saddle to accept those bolts. Alright guys, so what I'm working on now is just a way to connect my chain to these bolts. So what I did was I just took a M6 bolt and I parted it off, and then I just took it to the bench grinder and ground a flat on each side, and I also drilled a hole. Actually, I drilled the hole first and then I ground a flat. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide it in the chain like so, and then I'm going to pin it and pin it with a hammer to get the pin to stay in there. And so I've got this jam nut on there, and this will go into the bottom of the bracket like so, and that'll hold the chain on the bracket side, and then the other end will screw into the top of the saddle to connect it to the saddle. Alright, so now that I've got these done, the next thing I need to do is I need to bore and tap a couple of holes in the top of the saddle to receive this bolt. So we're going to be doing that next. Alright, let's check that. Alright. So that's going to work out real nice. So now I want to get this out. Alright guys, well you can see I've got the stud screwed into the top of the saddle. And I'm just running a bolt through here with a nut to secure it on this end. I was going to peen it, but it's going to be difficult to peen it. And I'll be assembling and disassembling this probably at least 3 or 4 more times before I do the final install. So sticking a rod through there and trying to peen it is just probably not a good idea. So what I'm going to use is I'm just using some M3 bolts here. I think that'll be good. We're just going to be pulling straight up on it, so it shouldn't be wearing from movement like this. So I think it'll be okay. Let me get you a good shot of that so you can see how that stud's in there. Okay. And then I've just got the jam nut down on it. And it's just bolted like so. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out to the machine and get it connected and see what we've got. Alright guys, well I've got it finished up. It's kind of high sitting up on the bench here, and it's rather tall, so trying to get this shot in a video and include the whole air spring assembly is a little bit difficult for me. But I've got the head on here now. This head's going to weigh about 50 pounds more once the belt drive's on and the marathon motor. However, I can tell already from moving it up and down that you can tell that the drill is not straining coming up as much as it is going down. But you can kind of hear it in the drill. It moves a lot faster going up than it does going down, so I know once I get the extra weight on there, it's going to equal this out really, really nice. Now, another thing is, before I put the head on here, the drill, when I pushed it down, it wanted to kind of unwind itself. So I know that the air spring pressure was too much for just this, which made sense, right? Once I put the head on there, you can see it doesn't try to move it at all, and maybe just a hair. So I know I can still add some weight to this head here before it gets to a point where it's going to be an issue. I'm all the way down. Right there is all the way down. You can see I've got 1/2 inch of clearance here on my block. I don't want to move too fast. Okay, there we go. 1/2 inch of clearance here on my linear rails. And if we peek in this window here, you can see that I hope you can see. There we go. You can see that my ball nut there is sitting down on top of that PVC I put in there, so that's as far as I can go down. However, I think without having the saddle on here and the table, I'm really, really close to just sitting the spindle straight down on the table. So I think I've got good travel distance there. You can see I've got about 3 inches there. Let me measure it. Got about 2 inches, 2.5 inches there, more compression than I can get from the air spring. And I'm all the way down. So you can see how by adding the chain, I'm able to get a lot of stroke length out of the 13 inch here. I'm able to get all the stroke length that I need. I've got, in order to compress this another 2.5 inches, I could probably lower this another 5 inches before it's fully compressed. So plenty of extension and travel on that. I'm all the way up. Plenty of height here. I won't know exactly what this distance is until I get the table in, but I'm suspecting it's going to be probably right now it looks like it's about 22 inches or so, so I'm probably looking at somewhere around at least 18 inches, I would think. Yeah, probably about 18 inches or so of Z-height travel, which should be plenty. There was a concern about the air spring maybe folding up or pushing out or in, but as you can see, it doesn't really move. Just the nature of the chain pulling against itself and it actually rolling around, the sprocket rolling around there, it just compresses. And it compresses straight up, which is exactly what we thought it was going to do, or exactly what Wyatt thought it was going to do when he explained it to me and we talked about it. So satisfied with the way it turned out, and ready to move forward with the finishing up the lubrication system. Still got to drill and tap these for the barb fittings and get the hosing all routed. I've got to make a spacer here for my mount here. I already know with the original mill that it needs about 1 7/8 inch spacer, so to push this center line out where it needs to be to get the full travel on my y-axis. So we'll figure all that out moving forward. Alright, so that's going to wrap up this video. As you can see, it works really well. Very pleased with the overall function and design of this counterbalance system. It's unique. I haven't seen anything quite like it, and so far so good. Guys, if you're new to the channel and you like the video content, click on the subscribe button right here. That way every time I post a new video you'll be notified, and if it's something you're interested in, you can stop by and check it out. As always guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and most importantly, be safe.